If you have been looking at betting apps on your phone, you may have seen Favorite Betting Tips. It has a very high rating. It has 8 VIP sections, and it offers a lot of different betting predictions. But here is the question that really matters. Do those predictions actually perform well? We tested the app to find out. Welcome to betproof. Our job is simple. We test betting apps, we track their results, and we show you what the numbers really say. So let me give you the important answer first. During our test, Favorite Betting Tips gave us 56 winning predictions. We recorded 26 losing predictions. There were also 10 predictions that were pushed or voided. That gave us an overall win rate of 68.29%. That sounds good, but there is a lot more behind that number. The strongest section in terms of accumulator profit was the plus 10 odds VIP. It produced a total accumulator gain of $1,281.02. The most consistent section was Special VIP. It recorded an accuracy rate of 85.7%. But two sections gave us a very different story. Correct Score VIP lost $500 on accumulators, and HTFT VIP also lost $500 on accumulators. There was also a 3-day losing streak from day 1 to day 3 on the plus 50 odds accumulator. So, in simple words, some parts of this app looked strong, some parts looked weak, and the way you use the tips can make a very big difference. Now, let's go deeper. First, let's look at the app itself. Open your Play Store and search for Favorite Betting Tips. The app has a 4.6-star rating from thousands of users. That is a very high rating. But there is something we always remind our viewers. A high app rating does not prove that the betting tips are profitable. People can give an app a good rating because they like the design. They may like the features. They may like how easy it is to use. But that does not tell us how the predictions perform over time. That is why we ignored the rating for a moment and went straight to the results. Inside the app, we found 8 different VIP sections. That sounds impressive. But 8 sections also means 8 different things to investigate. Not every section has the same type of prediction. Not every section has the same level of risk. And not every section produced the same results. So instead of asking whether the entire app is good or bad, we asked a better question. Which parts are actually performing? We tracked the predictions and separated the results. We looked at wins, we looked at losses, we looked at the different sections, and we also looked at accumulator results. Why does that matter? Because a high win rate can sometimes hide a problem. Imagine you win 8 small bets. That sounds great, but then you lose one very large accumulator. That one loss can wipe out several smaller wins. So the number of winning predictions alone is not enough. We need to know where the money is actually going. And that brings us to the first big result, the plus 10 odds VIP section. This was the strongest section when we looked at accumulator gains. The total gain reached $1,281.02. That is a big number, but there is an important warning here. High odds accumulators can produce very large returns, but they can also produce very large losses. The bigger the accumulator becomes, the more predictions usually need to win together. One losing prediction can break the entire slip. So we should not look at $1,281 and assume that this section is safe. What we can say is that it produced the strongest accumulator result in our test. But then we found something else. Special VIP had the highest consistency. Its accuracy rate reached 85.7%. That is a very strong number. And this gives us an important lesson. The section with the biggest profit is not always the section with the best consistency. One section may produce bigger returns. Another section may produce more steady results. So if you only look at the biggest winning number, you may miss the bigger picture. Now, let's talk about the sections that caused concern. First, Correct Score VIP. The accumulator result was negative $500. That is a serious warning in our test. Correct Score predictions can have attractive odds, and that can make them very tempting. But attractive odds do not mean easy wins. If the correct score prediction misses, the accumulator can fail completely. The HT and FT VIP section gave us a similar problem.
Do not increase your stake simply because you lost yesterday. A losing streak does not mean the next prediction must win. That is one of the biggest mistakes people can make when following betting tips. Now, let's go back to the overall numbers. We recorded 56 winning predictions. We recorded 26 losing predictions, and 10 predictions were pushed or voided. That gave us a 68.29% win rate. On the surface, that looks strong. But remember what we just learned. The win rate is only one part of the story. We also need to know which predictions won, how much the odds were, which sections they came from, and how the bets were combined. That is why our investigation goes deeper than simply saying, this app has a 68% win rate. That sentence alone would not tell you enough. Now, if you are finding this investigation useful, there is something you can do. You can join our Telegram channel. We share betting updates, app information, and free VIP predictions there. You do not need to search for it. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, let's continue with the investigation. One of the biggest differences we saw was between consistency and high-risk returns. Special VIP gave us an 85.7% accuracy rate. That tells us something about consistency. But plus 10 odds VIP gave us the biggest accumulator gain. That tells us something about potential returns. These are two different things. A bettor who only wants big numbers may look at the plus 10 odds VIP result. A bettor who cares more about consistency may pay more attention to special VIP. But neither result removes risk. And that brings us to the most important question. Is favorite betting tips worth paying for? Based on our test, there are sections that showed promising results. Special VIP performed well for consistency. And plus 10 odds VIP produced the biggest accumulator gain. But correct score and HT and FT were much weaker. Both lost $500 on accumulators in our test. And the plus 50 odds accumulator had a 3-day losing streak. So we cannot simply say, this app is good. And we also cannot simply say, this app is bad. The more accurate answer is this. Some sections performed well. Some sections performed badly. And the difference between them is very important. That is exactly why betproof tests the individual sections. Now, let's talk about the 4.6 star rating one more time. A high rating is nice to see, but it should never be the reason you spend money. Before paying for any VIP service, look at its history. Look at the winning days. Look at the losing days. Look at the losing streaks. And most importantly, look at how much risk is involved. Do not make a decision because someone shows you one huge winning ticket. One winning ticket is only one result. It does not tell you what happened before it, and it does not tell you what happened after it. That is the difference between a screenshot and an investigation. A screenshot shows you one moment. betproof looks at the bigger picture. So let's give favorite betting tips our final judgment. The app showed some promising numbers during our test. The strongest accumulator section was plus 10 odds VIP. The most consistent section was special VIP. But correct score and HT and FT were the weakest sections. Both produced a negative $500 accumulator result. And the 3-day losing streak on the plus 50 odds accumulator is another reason to stay careful. So we would not call favorite betting tips a guaranteed winning system. No betting app can honestly guarantee that. Our test only tells us what happened during the period we studied. And based on those results, this app deserves a closer look. But it also deserves caution. If you decide to use any betting service, understand the risk first. Never bet money you cannot afford to lose. Do not chase losses, and do not assume that yesterday's result guarantees tomorrow's result. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever used favorite betting tips? Did you try their VIP sections? Did you have a good experience, or did you lose money? Tell us what happened in the comments. And if there is another betting app you want us to investigate, leave the name below. We may put it under the microscope in our next. investigation. And if you want more betting app reviews, performance tests, and free VIP predictions, join our Telegram channel. The link is in the description and pinned comment. Remember, do not trust the promises. Trust the test. This is betproof. We test it, we track it, and we expose the truth. I'll see you in the next investigation.